Well, it's a comparatively toasty 82 degrees tonight here in Boynton Beach as the ruthless people of Florida take on the aliens from LA. Now, these two teams are going to want to look both ways as tonight's matchup features star center and part-time cinematographer Ben Effortless Wilson as he faces up against Nick Santa Croce's tight end. And of course, coming in under center and often in a tight end is wildcard Matthew Shank, who starts at quarterback for the first time tonight due to a bout of the farts that struck down nearly his entire team. Our thoughts are with those poor gentlemen tonight. Tonight's broadcast will, of course, be preceded by The New Way Podcast. Last Pint Productions and Walt Disney Studios present The New Way Podcast, home of the slurred sophisticate. That's The New Way, airing right now. Listener discretion is advised.
I met you on Friday. We slept together on Saturday. Took me to meet your mother on Sunday, and then you can't start anything. That's the tightest little relationship I've ever had.
Did you shoot at me?
No, you moron. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Could you please help me out? I know it's a lot to ask.
I told you, I'm busy.
Please?
Super Bowl!
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me and naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello and welcome to a Super Bowl Sunday edition of the New Way Podcast. We are here just hours before a game I could not possibly care less about.
You care as much about the game as Paul Ryan cares about livable wages for Americans.
And that's not at all. maybe
even less.
It's is there any excitement for you guys about? Is there any interest in this game for you?
Nope.
I have excitement just because of Nick Foles. Nick Foles, Nick Foles could be the most unlikely Super Bowl winner of all time.
I wouldn't ever call him a winner, but
People in Philadelphia going, Big Dick Nick, gonna bring the championship home, baby.
Big Dick Nick.
That's a hashtag.
Oh no, that is just everything that's wrong with this.
I know. I was very upset. I trademarked that hashtag years ago.
I saved this for the podcast. And I've told this story 1,000 times.
Speaking of Big Nick, Big Dick Nick.
Speaking of big dicks. So I was in Philadelphia for the 2005 Super Bowl.
You get yourself a hoagie?
No, I did.
You sound like you're from Baltimore.
But
as we've discussed, the Philly-Baltimore accent is basically interchangeable.
So, anyways, I went to this. I was there for a peace organization thing. Like I was there to be a whatever. Anyways,
what just what just?
That's not what we call good radio.
No.
Foosball.
You were playing the foosball, weren't you again, Ben?
I was. But so I was there for this like initiation thing, and so I go to South Street, and it's Super Bowl night. The Patriots are playing the Eagles. This is 2005, and.
We've got that part of the story pretty much established at this point. I think we're good to go.
Robin Williams, what year is this gift?
So every bar on South Street is like you pay $25, you get in, and you can drink whatever you want to until it runs out. So everyone's drinking.
They've since enacted the Ben Wilson clause.
There are Ben Wilson laws all over the country at all-you-can-drink establishments.
They don't offer that anymore.
Everyone's drinking lager.
There you go.
Yeah, you drink your lager.
That's wonderful.
But by the end of the night, everyone's taking shots of peach schnapps because that's all that's left at the bar. But
that's all that's left.
Yeah, it's all that's
all
left.
Ben has left them with.
I'm strangely sober in this instance. But anyways, so the game ends, and anybody who hasn't watched the 2005 Super Bowl, it was a fucking epic game where the Eagles drove down the field. Donovan McNabb basically kind of lost the game at the end.
Okay. I don't remember the Super Bowl at all.
You don't remember this?
It was actually very competitive, and
It was.
I
it
think
was
some
super
penalties pushed the Eagles back on their final drive, and he threw an interception to end it. But McNabb did not play a bad game.
No.
And for a while, it was looking like they were just going to go down the field.
But so anyways, the end of this game, I walked outside of the bar, trying to
began
find
urinating.
And 2 hours later.
No. So I was going to try and find a cab home, and so across the street there was this guy. So I'm on South Street in Philadelphia. There was a guy across the street who's painted green, completely painted green.
Checks out.
Who has a keg, an empty keg, and throws it, and it lands on a Miata that's parked across the street. Just goes, just falls down. He just goes, boo, woo, 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 woo. And he's just like, fuck the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was just like, I got to get the fuck out of here right now.
What is wrong with, like, is there any way there aren't like a gazillion deaths tonight between Boston fans and Eagles fan? I mean, it's like they're the worst.
It's easily the two worst fan bases.
The worst two fan bases.
It really is.
Even more than the Jets.
No. Oh, come on, man. The Steelers have pretty much the worst fan base.
No,
I disagree.
Steelers are not as destructive. The fucking Philadelphia. I mean,
the Eagles have the destruction and the violence.
Yeah,
and then the Patriots just have the insufferable. Like no one is more insufferable than a Patriot fan.
Your sister, Nick's sister, put a post up on Facebook saying there are people outside screaming. She goes, "No, don't mistake that they're actually doing a cheer. They're just screaming to see who can scream louder than the person next to them.
Like 9 a.m.
There's no organization to their. It's just an excuse to be a barbarian.
In old Veteran Stadium, the original. I don't know if it was the very original stadium, but they had the distinction of being the only NFL stadium to have a built-in penitentiary in the basement.
Good God,
they built a jail.
So my stepsister is they live outside of Burlington, Vermont, and every time I go
it's
there,
more than great coats.
Near the coat factory.
So
no, we were both going there.
But anyways, I still remember being back there for Thanksgiving back in 2005.
Bernie Sanders reference, right?
And she was just like, well, you should come up here and learn how people play football for real. It was just like this insufferable, like, we're the Patriots. This is the way that people play football.
They're drunk and rowdy too. Yeah, and Connecticut, we help too.
That's the worst part. All of New England gets to be insufferable. Connecticut get to be assholes. Yeah. Not just Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's
well, this is Vermont.
All of New England get to be insufferable pricks.
I can't.
It's all the way up to Maine.
And it's like, I used to think that I had friends that were from Philly, and they were like, kind of like, came from really good families, and they really had a lot of like Philly pride and Eagle pride. And I think like after the whole thing with Vic happened, I think a switch just turned, and they're just like, fuck it. Just fuck it. We don't care. It's just gonna be the business of football, and they're just assholes about it.
So I'm gonna ask a question here.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Ben, I have seen the garbage-picking, field-goal-kicking Philadelphia phenomenon starring Tony Danza.
Nick, what was your best Super Bowl memory?
My best Super Bowl memory?
Yes.
Well, I was lucky enough to witness 2 Super Bowl wins by my native Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, boy.
Woohoo!
I was a graduating senior in high school for the first Super Bowl, and I was a big Ravens fan back then. And I followed them when their very inception, they had really sucked. And I watched all those games with my family. So, and actually, I was in Tallahassee on the film school interview when they played the Tennessee Titans for the AFC Divisional. So that was really fun to like experience it with my family before I left.
No shit,
Baltimore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me and my mom went to this place that they thought were going to be showing it, and then somehow they didn't have the game on, so we went back to the hotel and watched the entire game with my mom in the hotel room, came back home for Oakland, and then watched the Super Bowl with my uncle, and and that was like really special because that was sort of my Baltimore send-off, is seeing my team win the Super Bowl, and then I went to college, then I went to LA, now I'm here. But I think
unceremoniously, now I
went right through 14 years, but
life happens fast.
That's right.
But I think the most fun I had was in LA for the second one. Dave Solinger and I used to go to this bar called The Parlor, and a bunch of rowdy, displaced Ravens fans would watch games every week. And that was one of the craziest, most spirited.
That was the blackout night, right?
Yeah, we are dominating. It's like a blowout by the end of the first quarter, and we just start getting drunk. Like, this is great. We can just sit back and enjoy it and relax. And at halftime, after halftime, the lights go out in the stadium.
Dave told me that he had like 5 shots before the game even started.
Yes, we were actually also there was the controversy of Ray Lewis using deer antler spray to come back from an injury, and was that legal or not? What it was this weird hunter pheromone thing.
By the way,
we bought it and we started spraying it down our throats. It tasted.
Just so you know,
just raise your hand
today.
Yeah,
Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame.
I know.
Into the Hall of Fame today, got inducted.
I'd kill to get into the Hall of Fame.
the Hall of Fame of potential murderers.
So I said I'd kill to get into the Hall of Fame. Just because I know it riles Ben up. Well, you know who was really calm and collected during that Super Bowl? That was Ben Wilson. I mean, he was just very, very just sober and very serious.
Well, you're leading by like 30 points, and then it's the end of the game, and they're on the goal line. That's how that game ended. It was up and down. People were screaming, hugging each other. People were making out that had never had any like they had not dated or had any interest before that day.
Were there a lot of Baltimore babies 9 months after the Super Bowl?
I think there probably were.
Super Bowl babies.
There probably were. That's the thing. That's a thing.
Yeah.
So I have to qualify this a little bit. I've obviously been a Baltimore Ravens fan for a long time, but the first time I ever became a huge hardcore fan was when Ray Rice ran that long touchdown against the Patriots back in 2009. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So the Patriots were favored by like 10 points. And
if you don't have an NFL team, you know, Ray Lewis, Ray Rice, Ravens it's a great team to get into.
The Ray events.
Yes. Back in 2009, that was I still remember I was Duffy's Sports Grill in Wellington and was watching that game, and I was just like, this team is fucking amazing. I want this team to go to the Super Bowl, and they didn't. But
I don't think that any team blew out the Patriots in Foxborough in a playoff game. That's the last time I think it's ever happened.
It was so bizarre just to watch the Ravens drag their fucking hairy dick all over the Patriots.
All right, Eagles fan. Jesus.
If Lee Evans catches that touchdown pass, we would have beat them 3 times in the playoffs in Foxborough. And no team has ever done that against them.
Exactly.
That's why they were a fun team to really root for. I'm not as big in football anymore, but that's why, like, Philly fans they don't know what to do. Like, the Patriots fans used to suck, and now they've got this entitlement. All of a sudden, they don't remember their pauper years. Now they're all princes, and they all they know how to do is win, right?
When they lose Brady,
but Philly doesn't know how to win. They don't know how to win, so they got this, like, chip on their shoulder. As a fan, you know, I don't know if I would have enjoyed growing up in Boston and being raised a Patriots fan, because it'd be a pretty, like, just put it on cruise control and just enjoy football games. I've never known what that's like. But, like, there's a really endearing, like, when your team is against the world and they're not as good as they're supposed to, as their opponent, and they got a chip on their shoulder, and then you do win. It's a special kind of win.
Nick, Geno's or pass?
Well, I don't know if I want to go between them.
Call us the Eagles, because we're ready to fly.
I think I actually go with, I had a different one when I went there, and it was really great, and they got shut down by the health department a couple days later, but I forgot what it was. It wasn't, I guess I'd go Pats over Geno's, but, I can't remember. Oh, Jim Steaks. Jim Steaks are good.
Nice.
I like Jim Steaks, if they're still
Jim
around.
Croce steaks?
Jim Croce does have restaurants in the California area.
Matt, have you been to Philly?
I have been through Philly, and I think I was probably in Philly when I was real little, but I don't have
I love Philly.
Like, I've not really hung out in Philly. I have all these friends that are from Philly and that live there, but I don't have any.
He tries to Facebook message my sister once, and now he's friends with her. I see how it is.
Wait, what? No, not her. No, like my best friend Casey, his dad was from Philly, so I hear all these stories about Philly, and his dad actually has a real Philly accent, not the Baltimore Philly accent. That's not the same thing.
It was the other Nick. It was Nick Schwartz that told me Pat's over Chino's.
He's here.
He's here.
He's literally in Boynton Beach right now.
You're seeing me.
No, he's here. He's here. I'm going to see him tomorrow. Do you want to play tennis with me, Nick Schwartz?
Man, this is great radio right now. Let's all
came here to watch the Super Bowl with his.
I just got rock hard.
Hey guys, let's all make plans for tomorrow after the podcast.
What's he doing?
Well, listen, it was a very inauspicious start. You're clearing your throat over there.
What's he
Ben
doing?
took 15 minutes to get a
muted
story
my
out.
mic to do that. You're killing me, guys.
You know it comes through on my mic, man.
I don't care if it comes through on your mic. It's not coming through on the thing.
We're just referencing our Philadelphian brethren.
I don't even know who
Nicholas
this guy
Schwartz.
is. Anyway.
He loves the Eagles. He flew here to Florida just to watch that with his family. It's a big deal, is what we're saying. It ties into the story.
Okay.
But also, he's here. So, do you want to play tennis tomorrow?
Oh my god.
Yes, that's okay.
Killing me.
We'll do it tomorrow. At 6 p.m.
What I love is that there was the SNL sketch for those of you that haven't seen it of the Revolutionary War and there was kind of a Philly Boston thing, but that's not the first time Tina Fey has done an attack of Boston versus Philadelphia. There was actually a bit from 30 Rock that I pulled as well, so you can listen to this one.
Even if it is from Philadelphia.
Go Eagles!
How did you even get a snowball?
Philly rules, cheesesteaks, Bobby Clark, Will Smith. Your town sucks.
You do not want this argument, Lemon. Boston is the greatest city in the world.
Boo.
Boston Tea Party, Boston Cream Pie, Boston Rob Mariano. Birthplace of Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, then he looked around, realized it sucked, and moved to Philadelphia. Oh, did you just whip a battery at me?
That sums up Boston, Philly, me. I love the fact that she throws a snowball
Well, not
at him
really
from
because
nowhere.
Not really because Philadelphia fans throw batteries.
Well,
that was
they
documented.
That's where they got it.
J.D. Drew.
They got it from that sketch.
Drew from FSU.
Yeah. They threw snowballs at Santa, and one thing about Philly fans, they spurred maybe my favorite quote that's ever been written in Sports Illustrated, and it was a piece about fans years ago. And the line was, Philadelphia fans would boo a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
And that sums up the fan base. They are, violent assholes, and New England fans are just assholes.
I've never.
Wait.
I mean,
hold on just 1 second. Violent Assholes is your band name.
Oh, that's good.
I've never felt more like I've never feared for my life more than leaving that bar in 2005.
I would get out of the state. Or I just hide. I'd hide in my house. And
my sister will be hiding.
Well, and the whole thing was,
and I don't blame her.
I was there with my friend. And he was just like, things are gonna get crazy, and I was just like, yeah, what? I'm a fucking 22-year-old adult. I know what's gonna happen.
You want to get nuts?
Nuts. Yes, I had no idea. As soon as I walked out of that bar, I was just like, I mean, it was a mile for me to find a fucking cab. And that entire mile, and me not wearing Eagles gear, I was like, I'm going to die.
The thing about their fan base is also, it's like, it's very Trumpian. When you call them on why they're bad, they double down on it. And the Patriots fans have embraced being the smug pricks, and then the Philadelphia fans are like, go ahead and grease them poles.
I can't
dare
wait.
you.
I can't wait till the Brady years are done and behind, and they start to slip, and it just gets they slip a little more, and they slip a little more, and then they become bad. Like every team does, which is fine. Every team goes through cycles.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to watch this one fall and happen. It's going to be
And you know what's funny?
amazing.
While I'm not as big of a Ravens fan, I'm not into football as much as I used to be a super fan, not as big anymore. But what has stuck with me is my schadenfreude for the Patriots and my hatred for them has survived, and that's almost as strong as it's always been.
Well, that's why everyone wants, and like they're like, why is everyone's just haters on it? It's like, no, you're just insufferable assholes. Like if you're not an insufferable asshole, then no one's gonna I can't. I'm biased because I'm a Green Bay fan, but Green Bay fans are not typically obnoxious
they're
about
actually super nice.
winning and about losing.
But
and
if they
not,
won like 6 Super Bowls in a year and in 10 years,
I don't think they would be
I
that
don't
way.
think so.
You
It's
don't
not-
think so?
No, they'd just be like, oh yeah.
First of all, you want to talk about a team that
we're
took
really good.
the exact drive, like you said, for the Eagles. The Green Bay in the 80s and basically after the ice bowl was terrible. I got made fun of so much when I was growing up when I'd be in the playground. Everyone's like, I was in Arizona, of course, as far from fucking Wisconsin as you can get, so no one's cheering for Green Bay. And I'm like, well, I'm a Green Bay fan because my grandfather likes them. Like, you're a fucking asshole. Like, they had mouths on them, these kids.
they yelled in their Jake Plummer jersey.
Yeah, they were dicks about it. And then we got good with Favre, and there was a period where we were like these underdog, and then we got Favre, and then we wound up getting Aaron Rodgers, which was a luck out as well to really have back-to-back strong quarterbacks. I mean, made it to the playoffs 10 years in a row till this year. Fucked it up this year, but I mean, it's not a dynasty, but they're a consistently top tier team.
Well, I argue that yours is actually probably the best example because they're the most like wholesome, like the city owns the team, and they're like just one of us. You know, we run into the grocery store, we don't bug them. So you pick a good example, but I argue that any fan base that has a team that could boast the best coach of all time, the best quarterback of all time, and no matter who they draft, no matter who they sign, everyone wants to go there. They are always good. They win 6 Super Bowls in a decade. They cement the best dynasty of NFL history. If you're that city, you are asshole Patriot fans. I argue that could happen to anybody.
I don't think it has to.
You can't. Yeah.
I don't think it has to. I don't think it is everywhere. That city, sure, but that's a city that's built around asshole fans in general. They did it with the Red Sox. They did it with anybody. Same as New York and the Yankees.
Well, I read a really funny thing. The Eagles played the Vikings in the playoffs, and they trashed them. I think it was like 30-something to
38-7.
Yeah, it was brutal. The Vikings really thought it was going to be their year. The Super Bowl's in Minnesota. It was just a crushing defeat. And these videos surface online of them throwing beers at the bus, trying to crack the Eagles or the Vikings bus, and like punching Vikings fans as they try to get to their car. All this this barbaric stuff. So they started this thing for all the Uber drivers and all the Lyft drivers. Airbnb's getting shut down in Philadelphia right now.
Oh yeah.
And in Minnesota, all these butthurt fans are now saying, if you pick up somebody in a green jersey and they want to go to the Mercedes-Benz or whatever the stadium is in Minnesota, take them to the other side.
Yeah, but except the Eagles fans were assholes to Minnesota. That's most of what I've been reading are people just being like, no, they were assholes to us when we played them. So when they come here, fuck them.
Yeah,
and my favorite is there's a player from the Eagles that couldn't get reservations for him and his family for dinner because they're like, no, sorry, all full up.
Yep.
That, by the way, that's amazing. That of all of this, that sort of tempered the feel for me. Be like, at least Minnesota's like, well, we're gonna do one thing that's right.
Between Minnesota accent, Philly accent, and the Boston accent, is an ugly place to be this weekend.
Before we get to topic here,
we have a topic.
I think so.
That was a Super Bowl,
but. I will say that 2013 Super Bowl, that was one of the happiest moments of my entire life.
Elation.
I was, absolutely just jumping around. And you,
I think you were my first call. I think I talked to you right after we won.
I was so elated. And just watching Joe Flacco, like of all people, just to be
Joe Montana.
Well, I got a car. By the way.
Mind you, this was 2 weeks after Ben found out he was having twins. So just want to put this in perspective of how excited he was. We've never talked about that moment, but we're going to hear about this one. And it legitimately was 2 weeks. Because you came over to watch the playoff game that got you guys into the Super Bowl, and you told me you were having... You didn't actually speak the words, you just held up 2 fingers. You took me outside, and you go, I was so worried. You go, so we had another sonogram today, and you were like, your face was just ashen white. You just won the game, but you're like, and I was like, oh no. And I'm like, is everything okay?
That was a Patriots game.
And and Ben just slowly holds up two fingers, and I'm like, and I go, what? And I didn't know what it was. Like, is that what you do? With your baby has died or something? And I was like, what? And you go, and I go, two? And you go,
sounds like
2. Twins. And I was like, oh my God. That was one of the funnier non-verbal conversations I've ever had with Ben Wilson. So I had like one other poll, but I don't think it makes any sense for here. And I also want to save it for possibly giving it to you, one of you guys, for our next cold reading, which is our topic for today's podcast. So many months ago, as it were, we had an idea of doing a podcast where we would give one another, which you talked about on air, we'd give one another a movie to watch. And the person who was getting the movie couldn't know anything about it. They couldn't have heard of it. They couldn't know who was in it. They couldn't know who was in it. They had to go in completely cold. Just put the movie on, watch the movie, and we're now going to kind of discuss what our opinions were and what we watched these movies. So, who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay. Well, Ben is a good one to start with because his movie was one we all watched together, actually, even though Nick had already seen it and he had already talked to me about that movie, so it couldn't get assigned to me.
Fuck you.
What was your movie, Ben?
Oh, it was Alien in L.A.
Alien from L.A.
From L.A. Sorry. Fuck you.
If it was Alien in L.A., it would have been a terrible film.
No, first of all, yeah.
So Nick...
What was it? No, Predator. Is it Predator in L? Is it Predator? What Predator 2? It's Predator in L.A.
Just want to know why.
Well, how dare you try to communicate with me?
I loved that movie when I was little. You didn't like it, Ben?
No, I didn't like that movie at all.
So tell us the plot. Give us a plot summary of Alien from
the
LA.
reason that it's Alien from L.A. is because she is actually put into another...
Who is she?
Oh,
Thanks, Ben. You want to make fun of my movie?
Any more
treats?
You didn't even pay attention to Alien from L.A.
You definitely started to say Sandra. That's way off.
Kathy Ireland.
Superstar.
In her first dramatic role.
Oh my God.
We witnessed history.
How do you forget? She's so terrible. How could you forget that she's in that movie?
For some reason, I thought it was Pam Anderson, but
that's Barbed Wire. Is it
Barbed Wire?
I'm gonna say something a little bit contrary. Pamela Anderson is such a better actress than Kathy Ireland. It's not even funny. Pam Anderson is Meryl Streep compared to Kathy Ireland.
Wow.
She's maybe the worst actress I've ever seen in my life.
So anyways, yeah, Kathy Ireland shows up.
What was this?
Just Google it, everyone.
This is like asking Hoot to explain a movie to me. You don't remember the plot? Okay, I will explain the plot as best as I can. Kathy Ireland is a nerdy little girl. We know this because she wears big glasses and baggy clothes. She's all right, Benjamin. She likes to hang on the beach.
She basically plays a character the character before she comes down the staircase to a Cardigan song.
She speaks like she's been as the MST3K guys say.
You said I was special. But naturally, I want to know why.
It's your helium addiction.
Oh, you laughed over it, but they say it's your helium addiction. So
I don't think we've let a single joke breathe in this entire podcast.
So she has a father who's like an archaeologist that disappears in Africa. In
Her father is Indiana Jones.
Yes, exactly. Some old schlubby Indiana Jones. Disappears in Egypt, sends her a letter, says, come on over to Egypt to figure out what's going on. She goes to Egypt.
Right.
She gets drugged in an apartment and falls through the floor and winds up in Atlantis.
Underground.
I'm skipping over some moments.
This is the movie that
this is the movie
that Nick Sacroci recommended to me.
And she meets a colorful cast of characters
played by South Africans with inexplicable Australian accents.
Yeah. The thing about that movie, why I think it's worth it, is because here's the thing. You're going to make fun of me, but the truth is, finding a movie that I haven't so much as even talked to you guys before about, much less seen or heard about it on your own, is a Herculean task.
It's hard.
Now, is this Citizen Kane? No. But
no, I didn't give you Citizen Kane.
It is a glimpse.
You're like comparing Citizen Kane.
That would be Kathy Ireland doing Citizen Kane.
Well, I think that the movie, while it has a few trouble points, is worth watching because of the production design. It's like a poor man's Terry Gilliam.
It's very. See, it's
the worst movie I've ever seen.
It's not that. It's hilarious.
The second half of the movie definitely has it's like Terry Gilliam doing Mad Max. It's kind of like a mixture of that.
Who wouldn't see that? Greg Klein, would you not see that movie?
No, look. From an entertainment.
If I had $7, I would have better production.
No, the entertainment.
That's not true.
From an
You like the production
entertainment,
value.
an entertainment stem. Yeah, it was by the Golden Globus company. Won 7 Golden Globuses. It's from a. If it was cast with anyone else but her, it would be an entirely probably forgettable but lofty thing.
That's
but
why I like her in it.
She is so terrible.
She's brilliantly self-aware of her character and brings a whole new depth to the.
I keep watching it. I keep watching
God,
it, and
it's so hard for
keep
Kathy
watching
Ireland.
it. You do.
No. I was pulling clips for this, and I keep. By the way, which is very difficult to do. I can't actually watch it because I have to get that DVD from Ben.
Well, you had to order the DVD as a double feature from some third-party company.
It's got 4 movies on it, not 2. It's a quadruple feature. But I don't know how to describe how terrible she is, other than it sounds like you're watching a sketch where someone's playing a bad porn actress, but they're really laying it on thick. Like the way you would make fun of a porn scene. It's worse than porn. It is worse than porn. She's a worse actress than a porn actress.
I don't think Kathy Ireland is that bad.
But I think we should give her a chance at porn first before we judge on that and see if she does any better.
I think
I would pay. I'd be at a 4-pack.
Surprise! We're bringing her in right now.
It was
that would be amazing.
Kathy, come on in.
Oh my God! What would
Kathy take down the phone from the door?
That would. Yeah, she's never going to be able to figure out how to get in this room.
It's called soundproofing, Kathy. Sit down. Okay.
Hi guys. Like she could get through my gate. She
Matt would cream his pants before he.
I do have that poster of her signed to Matt. Love always, Kathy Ireland. Love always. I was in love. I don't know how I never saw this movie, by the way, because I was in love with her.
And you couldn't show her the same goddamn courtesy?
No, God, no. I will not. No, she is not.
I think that movie is okay. Now I will admit something to you guys.
No.
I've never seen the movie without the robots.
MST, yeah, exactly.
I've only saw it, and I used to love it. And it's actually a really good episode of Mystery Science Theater.
It's a really great episode.
It's one of their best.
So I haven't watched that, so I should.
Well,
yes.
It's pretty great.
It's hysterical.
But see, now you have context.
The clips I'm playing here are from the MST3. Right. That's the only ones I could find for the most part, or the Mystery Science Theater, which is great. Look, that's how the movie should be watched. That's how we watch it. The 3 of us and Beth had some drinks.
You couldn't see that. He said watch in air quotes.
Yeah, just try. Cool. Yeah, you need to get a little messed up. You need to laugh at it and enjoy it. It's a Christmas Story musical. It's that same level of god awfulness.
bring that into it.
We'll always bring that into anytime we talk about bad things. Things that are so bad they're good. But it's pretty entertaining, right? You didn't not enjoy your 2 hours.
I had a fun time. Yeah, it was
Well, that was
time.
the point. That was the point. I just wanted you to have a fun time. And anyone who thinks that dystopian, steampunk, Terry Gilliam-esque, Kathy Ireland-led sci-fi 80s film
shot in
sounds
South
like a
Africa.
bad idea.
Shot in South Africa. The production of it is fascinating to me, by the way. That was my favorite deep dive.
I'm really interested in hearing what you think about the movie that I picked for you.
Yeah, we're going to take like a hard left right now, and then we're going to get back
All
to
I'm
yours.
saying is, for our listeners, Google the Alien from LA trailer and make your own decision. You don't have to take my word from it.
Yeah. Also, just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Last Pint Productions, and we will send you the DVD because it's the only way you're going to be able to watch it. It does not exist anywhere. Believe me, we tried. So yeah, we're going to take a very hard left turn into the film that Ben gave me, which is in every single way the opposite of Alien from LA, other than it has people with Australian accents in it who are actually Australian.
It's called Native from Wyoming.
Yes, it's Native Wyomingians. So it is called Look Both Ways. It's an Australian movie from 2005.
Both ways?
Both ways. Look Both Ways. And it's so it's one of those weird movies. I apologize. There are going to be spoilers. There's really no way to talk about it without kind of giving some spoilers away. But it's a movie that, strangely enough, if you stop before you watch the credits, is a very sad, really sad movie.
Really sad movie.
That has a coda that takes place through photographs that go by very quickly during the credits scene. They went full Marvel in 2005 and had a post or mid credits scene where there's a much more uplifting ending. If you watch you can watch it really carefully. I had to rewind it several times and play it like a little bit slower to see what the actual ending was. But basically, the way I describe the movie is it's how people react to big news in their lives. And you have about 4 or 5 main characters that each receive kind of a bit of news, and there's a little bit of like Magnolia shared stories, kind of crossing over one another and being involved. But it's also interrupted occasionally by these extremely loud and visceral animated sequences that come, and several of them are about a train crash, but they come out of nowhere, and the sound level on them is so much higher than everything else that it is literally like being in a train crash. And there's no warning, so you're just watching this Australian movie, and there's like a news story about a train crash, and this young woman gets on a train, and she's riding it, and it's going over these things, and all of a sudden, and there's an animated sequence of a train crashing, and you go, holy shit. And this happens periodically through the movie, and at one point she's talking to this gentleman, and she goes, "Do you ever see death?"
Was he 6'4" and from Brussels?
Yes. She goes, "Do you ever see death sometimes?" And she's like, "I see it all the time. Everywhere I look, I see death." And we realize that these are sequences that play out, and I'm like, so now I'm on pins and needles the whole rest of the movie, which is really not, I think, what they necessarily. They sort of were going for that, but I was expecting this bad like third act calamity to happen, just something very terrible that was going to happen to all the characters. Like,
they meet a strange lady, she makes them nervous.
Yeah, like, and it's all of these characters are getting closer and closer to one another, and there's more interactions. I'm like, fuck, all these people are going to wind up in a train, and it's going to crash, and we're going to be done. But that's not what it is. Basically, it's the main...
Except for Bruce Willis.
The main girl, her father's just died. It's her dealing with the aftermath of that. She meets a photographer who just got diagnosed with cancer that spread, like, everywhere in his body. And we find out through his stories that his father died of cancer. He and the girl meet up because there's this train crash that kills a man that accidentally gets on the tracks. So we follow the man who gets hit. We follow his wife, like the grieving widow. We follow the conductor who has an unspoken part throughout the entire movie. We don't know who this character is. Just keeps showing this one guy. Two. And until he finally, it's a guy winds up at the widow's house apologizing to her in one of like the saddest, beautiful sequences in the movie. But really,
the whole reason why I recommended that movie for you is that one scene.
It is. It's heartbreaking. It's really. I mean, it's beautiful, and really at the heart of
beautiful, Mike.
Yeah, it is at the heart of it. It's this guy who looks exactly like he's Australian Jamie Lannister. Looks exactly like Jamie Lannister, just Aussie, and this artist, and they have this relationship. And that the clip that preceded this episode that you guys heard, he breaks up with her. And she has a great line. She's like, "You've got cancer." And she's like, "You're breaking up with me because you've got cancer?" And she's like, "Shouldn't I be breaking up with you because you've got cancer?" Like, and there's this whole thing. And the movie ends with them deciding to move forward with this relationship, but he knows he's dying, like, very soon. Is basically the prognosis. Yeah. And that's where the movie ends. We go to black, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is really sad."
So they took a page out of the Room's playbook. Yeah, announced someone has cancer and then never address it again.
The whole movie is about him coming to grips with telling her. They have this like wild weekend together, and he tries to break up because he's like, "I don't want to start something because I'm dying," and he like has to tell her that he's dying, and it's really terrible. And because his dad died of cancer, he's gone through. He and his mom have a scene where they're talking about what it's like living with someone like this, and he's like, "I don't want to do this to you," and she goes, I'm in. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna get through it." And so you go to the credits, and I was crying, like, "Oh my God, this is bad." And thank God, I actually kept it running. I normally would shut it off, but it goes to credits proper, and then all of a sudden, like Polaroids start popping up. And they've done this effect earlier in the movie too, of these like kind of quick cut Polaroid scenes where he's had like his life flash before him, all this stuff. And it's him and her, and it's like him getting chemo, and it's like them traveling, and it's all this stuff. and it's her and him getting sicker and all this stuff. And then there's like very much interspersed with those things going. Then you start to see things that are happening after this, but it's hard to tell. And then you're seeing them getting a little bit older and a little bit thing. And you're like, basically the idea is that he got through it, he beat it, and they're now forging this life together and moving on. And it's beautiful. It's really, really just a beautiful, simple film. There's no
simple Australian cancer film or
the animated
colorful science fiction Kathy Ireland and Underground Atlantis movie. You be the judge.
I loved it. It was great. It was good. It was good. I mean, I had no idea what I was going to... I did... That was me at the end of that movie, 100%.
I don't even need the drop anymore. I can do it perfectly.
I love a good cry, man. I love it.
Matt, can I tell you, I love you so much. The fact that you love that movie, or that you like that movie, or
you realize there's America in a nutshell. I love you for thinking the same thing as me.
No. I love that Ben's surprised, but like, if you look at our track record, you gave me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. Yeah, Matt loved the weepy coming of age story movie. Then you gave me Perks of Being a Wallflower. Oh, Matt loved the weepy coming of age story.
For me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, I think that you need something a little bit more substantial than the Kevin Smith.
It's pretty.
You were probably
pretty good. Yeah, I was. But yeah, I'm a sucker. If it's got good characters and the writing is good, which it 100% is, they have very natural. I mean, it's low budget Aussie anyway, so it just feels like you're kind of this fly in the wall thing. It's like a student film. It's all heart, all emotions, good stuff. So
well, if you're in Australia, poisonous tarantula on the wall,
deadly tarantula. All right, well, so Nick has the something between the two of
something
these.
Completely different. We all went a different direction.
We did.
I saw the classic Ruthless People through Matt's recommendation.
Directed by
Alan Smithy, I'm guessing.
No. Oh. Do you know?
Well, Ruthless People was the sequel to...
No, it's not a sequel.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I'd love to know what you're thinking of.
Yeah, you got something going on in your head, but it's not a sequel.
Ruthless People, a sequel.
Ruthless People's directed by the
Abrams
Abrams Zucker
team.
Yeah,
the Zuckers, yeah.
But it's not a parody.
Yes.
It's one of their only non-parody movies, other than Ghost.
And you definitely get their stank on it a little bit. I gotta say, I didn't love it. I watched it twice. And
sorry.
One thing that I can say about it though is it's funny. I'm not normally the guy that champions the remakes and the reboots, and that's super fashionable, and I'm kind of burned down on it. However, this particular movie absolutely screams for an adaptation.
Oh yeah.
It has a large cast. You got a little too much Judge Reinhold. I think maybe that was the crux of my problem.
What do you mean,
Judge
There's
Reinhold?
no such thing as too much Judge Reinhold.
Danny DeVito. You got who else?
Bette Midler. Helen Slater, Supergirl herself, looking good.
Yep, and then you got the guy from Spaceballs is in it. He's really good. The stupidest man alive.
Oh, the cop.
No. The guy from
Bill Pullman.
Pullman. So you got this large comedic cast.
Bill Pullman.
Yeah, I know.
He's so good.
He is really good in it.
Listen, my dog is going to be really sad.
He would love Bill Pullman in that movie.
Yeah,
you know that my dog loves Bill Pullman.
I do. I didn't think anyone could love Bill Pullman more than Matt, but Sully proved it wrong.
Yeah, he's got me beat.
But it's this bad cap kidnapping, a mad nap, if you will, where Danny DeVito is this rich asshole who stole this woman's design for spandex miniskirts and became a millionaire. And he has his wife, Bette Midler, who he secretly hates and wants out. But if he divorces her, she's going to take all his money. And her father's got money. He married her for the money, and then made another fortune. So he just is this greedy asshole. So he gets entwined in this idea where he's going to hire or he's going to kill her, or he's going to hire someone to kill his wife.
He's going to chloroform her, and then Bill Pullman and his mistress and Danny DeVito's mistress are going to help him get rid of the body, but secretly the mistress is going to try to blackmail him. She's going to tape it.
Bill Pullman.
Because he's, with bleach blonde hair.
So meanwhile, this whole plan gets thrown into disarray because the woman who gave him the idea for the spandex miniskirt and her boyfriend, who is the judge, they rush in and they kidnap Bette Midler.
Judge Reinhold?
You know it. They kidnap Bette Midler and hold her hostage to get back at him for stealing the... It's very busy. It's very busy. It kind of lost me.
I mean, it's based on... So it's the same... There's a story credit that's shared between Home Alone in that movie, which is an old story called the something of Little Bigfoot, I think. But it's an old story where these guys kidnap a kid for a ransom, but the kid winds up being more than they bit off more than they can chew, and they want to just get rid of him at the point, which is sort of the Home Alone thing. That's the same. Basically, these two people kidnap this guy's wife, who he's going to kill anyway. So now he's like, perfect. I just won't pay the ransom, and they'll kill her, and I don't have to do anything. And that's basically it. But everyone then it turns into a madcap.
There's some clever parts of it. I think overall, it didn't speak to me. But I think maybe a big part of it was that it was very, very 80s.
It didn't speak to you like
it is the
Alien
most
from
80s
LA.
movie.
No, it did not. And it starts off with this song from Mick Jagger that is just like embarrassingly bad.
I really should have pulled this
up. And they play it. It seems like they play it on a fucking loop over and over
Do you
and
know how
over
much
again.
money it must have cost them to get that?
Well, they also got Billy Joel to do one, or they got Billy Joel to do one too, and that's played ad nauseum. But the thing that most annoyed me, Matt, is I sat down. Sorry. Oh, Jesus. Oh, sorry. Oh, God. Oh, there it is. Third time's the charm. Disgusting. Just disgusting.
It's a higher flu season, guys.
Oh, my God. We're all going to die.
Oh, God. Oh, the snot hanging down. Oh, my worst nightmare. You know when you're in class, look at his hands are glistening with snot. That is horrifying.
Oh, my God.
That is horrifying.
Oh, my God, Ben.
Sorry.
Oh, my God.
Do you have a little napkin back there or something? What do you have?
I don't.
No,
I have paper.
All right. Well.
Like a magic tricks sponge ball.
Oh, you don't want to ruin that.
A monkey?
Well, if we're not back for another installment of the New Wave podcast, you know we fell victim to patient zero.
Just waiting for something to burst out of your chest, alien style at that point.
Fuck, that was,
oh my god.
Like banging into the microphone. And so anyway,
tell me more about how you hated one of my favorite movies and most formative moments of my childhood. Go on.
And well, I know why it's formative, because I sat down with my glass of Pinot Grigio.
Titties?
Well, there was a sex scene that figures prominently in the plot.
With the principal from Head of the Class?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I am not exaggerating when I say, to comedic effect, it is the loudest, most ridiculous lovemaking sounds I've ever heard in a film. And because it plays so prominently, just like the fucking Mick Jagger song, it comes back. It keeps coming back. It is a close second to MacGruber's sex scenes.
I will say that scene,
and they play it more than the Mick Jagger song. It keeps coming back into the plot. So I'm sitting there and I'm playing it at a good volume. I'm scrambling for the remote every 5 seconds so my neighbors don't think that I'm murdering someone.
That's
I felt like I was a kid again, like in the basement trying to secretly watch Showtime.
It's what's so genius about that plot point, and he's right. It is played multiple times.
17 times.
It's Bill Pullman goes out thinking he's going to videotape Danny DeVito killing his wife so they can blackmail him. He mistakenly finds it's the mayor or the city commissioner or something that goes out with a prostitute to go fuck this prostitute in his limo. And Bill Pullman hears the sounds of them having sex, and he thinks it's the woman being murdered, and so he doesn't look at the tape. He's like, I can't listen to it. So every time they play he's like, oh, that poor woman, and it's just some woman just getting banged by a really old, ugly. It's a prostitute unwillingly having sex with a gentleman,
and that's
for comedic effect.
And that is what shaped Matt during his formative years.
So here's the funny thing.
Explains a lot.
I watched that movie with my family like multiple times. It was one of our favorite movies.
I would never watch Alien from L.A. with my family.
My family watched What About Bob? That was as edgy as we got.
No, we didn't. My parents.
Hey,
my parents' rule. My parents' rule was watch. If you watch it with us, we don't care. And I didn't. Most things I didn't want to watch when they had sex. That creeped me out. But I watched Fish Called Wanda. I watched Ruthless People. I was 7, 8 years old when Ruthless People came out.
Do you remember the movie?
I want to see Behind the Green Door.
Do you remember the all-black Western Posse?
Yes, with Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, Mario Van Peebles. So I watched
me, Mario Van Peebles.
I was 11 years old. And I still remember watching that, and there was a sex scene in the middle of it where, basically Mario Van Peebles just eats a titty.
Yeah. Was there a through line for this, or you just want to tell about you watching that? You wanted to let everyone know that there's a scene in Posse where Mario you didn't watch it with the family or anything. You just wanted to share that moment.
I was watching it with my entire family.
Oh, okay, that's where I missed that part of it. Sorry, I thought you just wanted to say.
No.
By the way, just so you guys know, there's a scene in Time Cop where Sloane Peterson shows her nipples to the audience. I highly recommend you watch it.
Now that's what I call safe sex. That was my first movie boob. Was Time Cop.
Really?
It was.
What?
That was it.
Oh my god!
That's why I could recall the line like that.
Oh, not fucking Fast Times or something like that.
It's actually a good gag. It just cuts to a naked woman on a bed. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
It's virtual reality.
It's not a character that's been in the film, and then it pulls back, and it's Jean-Claude Van Damme with that virtual reality helmet, and he takes it off. He goes, "Now that's what I call safe sex," and it's like a great little one-liner.
That was the first time I saw Poor Man's Alan Rickman, Ron Silver.
Yeah, that's
Poor Man's American Alan Rickman.
That's astute.
Avengers.
So
I would have said Time Cop, but I knew you guys have seen that.
Oh yeah.
Back to.
That was I saw Time Cop in the theaters.
Oh my God.
Theater.
Oh the fuck!
Wow.
I could call Rick Bedoya up right now to corroborate us going to see Time Cop.
Real quick, what was your first PG-13 movie, and what was your first R-rated movie? Because I remember like it was yesterday.
Oh, Batman.
Was
my
PG-13?
PG-13.
What was your first R-rated movie?
What was your first R?
Well, it wasn't in the theater. In the theater?
Yeah. Well, no, at all. At all.
No,
not a porno.
My first, Terminator.
Okay, that's a good one.
Okay, that's good.
That's a good one.
Oh God, Splash was pretty early for me on that, but I don't think. Remember, PG-13 came out after I was already.
Well, that was
see
PG
movies.
back then.
Yeah, like I saw.
Howard the Duck would be PG-13 today just because of the Duck movies.
I mean, I saw Temple of Doom was what made them make the PG-13 rating, but I'd already seen. I mean, I told on our first podcast we talked about. I saw my parents took me to a double feature. Our whole family went to a double feature of RoboCop and The Untouchables, which are two of the most violent
Hard R
movies, and that was 86?
87.
Well, you're gonna love
87?
this. My first PG-13 movie was Wayne's World.
Oof.
We got it from.
Oh my God, that's like.
It was a video rental. I was very sheltered. And we went to a video store called Voice of Video. Was the name of the place?
Well, that's a good name.
Super quirky. And then my first
Psycho Hose Beast.
my very first R movie. If you guys guess it, I'll buy you around next time.
Is it
Wow.
is it something released around the same time as Wayne's World?
Okay, I will give you a hint.
Okay.
At one point,
We're just waiting around. We're
at
just
one
like,
point,
"Oh, whatever."
think Universal Studios. One of their properties.
Jaws?
Nope. You're close though. It does take place on the water.
Waterworld?
Kevin Costner's Waterworld.
That's not hard. That's PG-13.
By
Oh
the
my
way,
God.
Waterworld's a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
What was my first
And by
R
the way,
movie?
I don't know,
That's
but
an awesome
I was like
movie.
waiting for.
Are you sure?
I'm like 80%, I'd say.
Oh,
We'll
shit.
check it out.
Well, now I don't even know what my first R
Just
movie
vamp for 30 seconds, Nick, and audibly go through the
I
thought
remember that being a
process
big
of-
deal that I actually saw an R movie. My dad took me to
I
go
could
see
be
it.
wrong. I could be wrong. Let's see here.
I think it's R.
PG-13?
No, it's PG-13.
No shit. He lied to me.
Kevin
You want to go
Reynolds-
see your first
Kevin
R
Reynolds-
movie, Slugger?
Kevin Reynolds directed that movie.
My
Holy
my
shit.
first R-rated movie was the Beverly Hillbillies. That was R-rated, right? Yeah. So
Oh my God.
No.
your whole world is a lie. Everything you've known is wrong.
I like knowing what it. I don't know what my first R movie was. No.
Well, so I still remember when I saw The Terminator, it was at my dad's wedding. I was 9 years old, and
you skipped it.
Excuse me.
It
wait.
was not at is what you
Yes,
skipped it, Ben.
So it was the portion of the wedding where we all watched Terminator, like everyone does in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And
First you have your aperitif, then you have James Cameron's Terminator.
quiet,
Then
everyone.
you cut
it
the
is-
cake, the best man speech.
But no, so I came
Then
downstairs.
aliens.
I came downstairs. Everybody, of course, all my uncles are just fucking drinking beer, and they're having, they're partying, they're having a good time.
They're fucking and drinking
And
beer.
I was like, what is this? And they were like, it's Terminator. And
Wait, so this is
my uncle says,
what is going on?
my uncle says,
where are you?
I'm basically.
What is the building? What is the building you were at when this is happening? You said you went downstairs.
I'm off the coast of North Carolina.
Are you in like a home?
I'm at Bald Head Island.
Okay,
I'm
no,
at a
but
house.
you're in a house.
Bald-
Okay, there we go. That's what I was
Bald
looking
Head
for.
Island.
You're at a house. So the wedding was at a house,
No, the wedding was at a fucking chapel.
and then the reception was at the
You
house.
watched at the reception.
No, it was before that.
Then it.
You had a pre-wedding reception where you watched Terminator.
So
It was
the,
pre-wedding,
near
so
the time of a
everyone-
wedding, you
everyone-
watched the Terminator. Not
everyone
at
in my
my
family.
dad's wedding. I watched the
yes,
Terminator
yes,
and went
there you go.
downstairs. There we go.
We need a Is This Real Life drop because we could have used it for the past like 5
Oh,
podcasts.
God Almighty.
God damn it.
Continue. So all right. So a day,
I'm done now.
3 weeks before the wedding, you were at a house.
No. God damn it.
And then Mario Van Peebles ate a titty.
Peepholes.
But he
it's funny.
he eats that titty real good.
He does. He
Wait,
goes to
stop, we
town
gotta
on
get
a
that
titty.
clean.
He goes
This is why you don't talk over people. We could have gotten that clean.
to town on that titty.
There we go. There we go. Thanks, Ben Wilson. That'll be slowed down.
Happy
and
to
played
oblige.
Well, shit. This was one of our. We say this a lot. Say this a lot, but this was a weird episode.
This is a weird episode.
We did an entire sports talk for like 30 minutes, breezed through our movies in about 10, and then started talking about Mario Van Peebles going to town.
We're like
on
the
some
sun
city.
in National Lampoon's movies. We're rusty.
Always changing. Oh, sorry. I thought
oh.
you meant Because he's never the same Rusty.
Yeah, but we are Rusty from. Are you banging it? What's going on over there?
You got any more sneezes in you?
No.
That was 4, I think.
Well, all right, so a question. What's your prediction for tonight's game? Calamity.
Eagles 23-20.
I mean, Patriots.
I'm calling it.
Eagles 23-20, okay.
Patriots will win.
But you think it's going to be a blowout, or you think it's going to be a close game?
I think Patriots will win 34-21.
34-21.
Nice.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't think the Patriots can win.
I'm
can
just
lose.
optimistic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I you know what? It's just, it hurts because I have no reason to root for the Eagles other than it's rooting against the Patriots.
Good enough
but
for me.
I really do not like the Eagles. Like, I really just dislike
So
their organization.
Nick Schwartz is in town. He's not here.
He just texted me.
Tell him to come here right now.
All right, well, these guys make plans with Nick Schwartz, who I'm sure is a lovely gentleman, and I may meet him at some point. We will be back hopefully with a new episode in a week or two. We got a lot of great stuff planned for you over the next year, and also please send us thoughts and ideas on stuff you might want to hear. As Nick and I were talking last night, I think we're going to do some kind of live theater type stuff coming up, and maybe do like a little sort of radio play, a last pint radio play. And if you're on Ben's drinking team, the Grinders, I look forward to meeting all of you in a few weeks. Hopefully, and as I understand it, one of you is listening to all of the podcasts in order. So by the time you get here, whatever psychiatrist bill you need paid, we will pick up the tab. Oh, and actually this week coming up, big surprise for everyone, John Arthur Ingram is going to be in town and participating in our next podcast. So we're going to have a little Jai, not the Courtney, here this week to record. Thank you so much for listening to The New Way. Hope you enjoyed the big game, and we'll talk to you next time.
Cheers.
Shut ears. At you!
Oh.